Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Craven, the hunter, who uses all the methods of the animals.
This Thursday, witness the making of a new Marvel villain.
Once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Craven the Hunter. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Welcome back to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It is Robbie here coming to you on the evening of December 10th, 2024. Penguins just wrapped up another contest, this time against the Colorado Avalanche on home ice in Pittsburgh, and they fall in this one 6-2. It is now their second loss in 3 games, but a tough Colorado team in Pittsburgh tonight. A beat up Colorado team, but still a good Colorado team. And the Stars showed up tonight in a big way for the Avalanche. Nathan MacKinnon gets on the board. Mikko Rantanen has a hat trick in this one. Kel McCarr exits with a point. So does Devon Cave. So a big performance out of the big guns tonight for Colorado. Too much for the Penguins to keep up with. And before we get more into it, I'm as always joined by Snail on the other end of the mic here. And Snail, I think if you look at the rosters, the Penguins are not favored tonight, and the big guns really showed up for Colorado when they needed to, and they exit with the 6-2 win. And it just kind of shows you, I think, where the Penguins are at. So as the guns, they showed up, and the Penguins just couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tall order, no matter how good your team is. I mean, Colorado Avalanche, even as banged up as they are, when you've got Cale Makar, who I'll touch on him in a little bit, I think he might be the best defenseman. I think he's the best mobile defenseman that the game has ever seen. I think he's just disgusting his casual, like if his give a you-know-what meter isn't all the way up, he's still nastier than like 95% of players in the NHL, defensemen, whatever. And Nathan MacKinnon, I feel like unlike the Penguins where Sid is kind of this like more stoic leader who really leads by example with his play, the Avalanche are led by, Landeskog's been out for a number of years. It's almost a number of years now, hasn't he? It's been a couple years, and he's had a setback. And without their captain, Landy, Nate MacKinnon leads the charge on this team, and you do not have to tell MacKinnon to get up for a game. He's 0 to 60 immediately, and he's one of those guys you probably have to tell to take a little bit off than to get up and get after it. So a tall order for not just a Penguins club who's kind of riding a bit of a hot streak recently. I mean, you could be, a top team in the league, and it's not going to be an easy 2 points. I'll even segue a little bit further with that. I feel like the Penguins had a bit of a sleepy start, and the Penguins, part of, I think, the reason for some of their success recently has been that desperation, jumping out into these games early with either scoring chances or mixing it up emotionally, getting on the board early. And that was what the Avs did to the Penguins, and they were down 2-0. Not super quick, but relatively quickly. They're in a 2-0 deficit, and yeah, the Penguins were playing catch up the whole game. They cut the lead down to 1 for a little bit, and ultimately, you see the difference in a team. The Penguins were this team at one point. You see the difference in firepower, in depth. I think Jari had a mediocre game. I really wish that I think it was the second Rantanen goal. I kind of thought that they should have had that back. Valeri Nichushkin, I mean, dude, guy's been gone for like 6 months or whatever on leave, and he comes back, and I mean, that guy, he's right back to being the big power forward he is. So it's not a good matchup for the Penguins, and they didn't really get out to the start that they needed to stay in this game, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, they even went down 3-0 if you count the second Rantanen goal to open the third period. They did fight back. Cody Glass gets his first as a Penguin. Michael Bunting gets his 7th of the year. It was 3-2 after 2 periods, so after 40 minutes, you're thinking, hey, maybe the Penguins can flip one of these deficits on their head, like teams so often do against them. But the Avalanche get a little cushion from Valeri Nichushkin, and then Arturi Lehkonen makes it 5-2, and at that point it was pretty much a bow on this one. But the Penguins, I mean, they did battle back, so that's good to see. Jari, yeah, I mean, not a great night from Jari, but yeah, it's nice to see Cody Glass get his first of the year. Michael Bunting continues to rebound after his slow start. But overall, yeah, just one team was better than the other tonight. That's all there is really to it. Mackenzie Blackwood gets Scott Wedgwood. Too many Woods on the Colorado Avalanche right now. Scott Wedgwood, who was just acquired a few days ago, I believe, makes his Avalanche debut. He puts together a 25 save night on 27 shots against, so a good effort from him. Jari, 5 goals on 26 shots. Not going to be good enough on any night, especially against a team like the Avalanche. So, Penguins dropped this one. Not really. I mean, it was kind of a tale of one roster better than the other, and those stars just taking hold of this game early and often in this one. But I will say, I think though they lost, having that fight back, definitely. I mean, if you're looking for a silver lining, that to me is a silver lining, especially with how often the Penguins are on the opposite side of games like that. Just fighting back and at least making it a game heading into the final period.
Yeah, agreed. This wasn't despite the score being 6-2. If you watched the game, the Penguins hung in there, and there never really felt like a moment, I would say, until I think it was, for me, it was maybe more the Nichushkin goal, because Wedgwood, Blackwood, whatever one is in net, that's not prime Martin Brodeur. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I think it was the Nichushkin goal that I was like, oof, I don't know about that. It's gonna be they're gonna need a big response for that. And I didn't think Raquel was having much of a game, and he's their leading goal scorer. I was hoping he would get on the board, but he just there are games sometimes you just don't have it, and I just saw some plays come to him, and puck was bouncing off his stick, and the Avalanche are super relentless, closing gaps and closing off space, and I was looking more to him and Russ to try to break it open. They weren't really having any success, and then the Arturi Lehkonen goal, that was curtains for sure. But Robbie, this isn't the Penguin. This team is playing differently. It seems that something has kind of they're figuring a way to stay competitive in some of these games, and never really felt like it was too far out of reach for them. They weren't wilting and folding. And I've been saying it for so long, and some of our listeners like to joke about it, and it's funny, you know, the old piss and vinegar gets thrown around quite liberally by me at times, but I thought a turning point in this game, you get a guy on your team like Bunting. Bunting's shaking his stick in someone's, I forget whose face it was. He was pissed off at one point, kind of wakes the bench up a little bit. Cody Glass coming back, missed 12 games with the concussion. He's got the tinted visor on now to help with some of those symptoms. I thought Cody Glass had himself quite a game, and you know, he got his first goal as a Penguins. Congrats to him, but it was just good to see him out there making things happen. It looked like Sullivan was giving him a bit of a leash to just kind of go out there and create, much like they did with Tomasino when he first got acquired. I don't know how long he's going to stick in that roster spot that he was in today, but you've some of that youth, some of that piss and vinegar that Bunting provides, and all of a sudden, who gets on the board? Cody Glass and Michael Bunting. So for so long, I've been harping on the Penguins that they can't just look to Sidney Crosby and Malkin for emotion and energy, and you need to inject yourself emotionally into some of these games. Robbie, you seem like a very mild-tempered guy. Yeah. You seem like a real chill person. I don't know how you get when you get competitive, but as someone who played sports before, when I played sports, it was always, you know, when you get emotionally chippy and involved, that's when the game gets taken to a bit of another level, and it's just the way that sports work. And you know, the Penguins lose 6-2. Silver linings, we can talk about them, but it would be 6-0 without, I think, players like this youth that we're getting, the spunk from these young guys, the Tomasinos, the Glasses, the Lizottes, the Michael Buntings. I think they could use a hell of a lot more of it, honestly, but you can't, you know, you've got good players on this team that can score and put the puck in the net, and sometimes you need those players that add a little bit of juice without, you know, just emotionally injecting themselves, as I was saying, into these games. And it paid off for them in the moment. They got themselves within one goal, and then, you know, you got it's, and then the rest of it, like we already talked about it, but I thought that was a big thing for me that I took away from this game, was the Glasses, the Lizottes, the Buntings doing what they do and helping this team not fold. And it's not, you know, going into the second period, or maybe let's just say going into the third period with a goose egg on the board.
Yeah, they definitely inject some life into what sometimes is an otherwise lifeless team. Cody Glass, who's been in and out of the lineup this year, dealing with concussions and other issues. He was a summer pickup looking for a fresh start. Yeah, good to see him get on the scoreboard tonight for the first time this year, and first time as a Penguin. I think at this point we have to get Noel Acciari out of the lineup. There's no reason that Jesse Puljujarvi is not playing every night. I don't know what the issue is, what if there's doghouse or whatever the case. I think that he needs to be in the lineup night in and night out. Phil Tomasino returned to the lineup tonight after missing Saturday's game. First time as a Penguin, he did not record a point in the game. He was held off the score sheet this evening for the first time in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I there's some good, like Lizotte has been absolutely excellent for the Penguins, though we kind of pinned that as the Penguins' big signing, quote unquote big signing this offseason, maybe the most important. He's been well worth it. Michael Bunting, you know what you're getting from Bunting. Nothing he does really surprises you anymore, because he has a track record. He's a veteran at this point. Dude is just pure sandpaper. He's not as big as like a Hornquist, but he's not afraid to shoot from anywhere. He gets into the dirty areas. The pass that was made by Erik Karlsson tonight on the the Cody Glass goal was just, I mean, it's one of those passes that you're going to see on highlight reels for years, just because it was just such an absurd pass that like maybe three people in the NHL, and he might be the only blue liner that can make that pass. Just an absolutely absurd pass. But yeah, you got some boost from guys like your younger guys tonight through the lineup. Ryan Graves was in the lineup tonight. Nothing really. I mean, he was there. He existed. I thought Marcus Pettersson had a rough night. Owen Pickering had a nice play against Nathan McKinnon earlier in the game, being able to skate away from one of the best skaters in the league. Pickering continues, in my opinion, to impress and be I think he's an NHL player now. I think it's just what it is with him. I think that's he has found a home in Pittsburgh. Not saying at all there won't be down nights, there won't be struggles or growing pains, but I think right now he is a NHL defenseman. Outside of a rehab assignment, I see no reason for him to spend any more time down in the AHL marinating at all. I think he is learning more now than he would down there. So good to see him still making progress. He was a dead even tonight. He had no shots or anything, but again, he's not going to score a ton of goals. But again, getting 15 minutes of ice time tonight, good to see. But I would like to see that number be a bit higher. Other than that, yeah, I mean, they just lost it. They got beat by a better team. And all in all, that was really the bottom line of tonight. Just Colorado was just a better hockey team.
Absolutely outclassed. The Penguins don't have the guns to keep up with them. It's funny, yeah. Also, that was Carlson to Bunting. That sick pass. I thought Carlson looked good again tonight. I was gonna say one thing about the power play. Power play was 0 for on the night. Fortunately, the Penguins were pretty good on the penalty kill as well, because it could have been an even uglier score with that power play, despite the injuries that Colorado has. I don't know where I'm at with the power play, Robbie. I get it. They split up Gino and Sid. I get it. You're pulling strings. You're making changes, keeping it fresh, as I like to say.
Deck your home with Blinds.com. Blinds.com. DIY or let us install. Blinds.com. Free design consultation. Free. Plus free samples and free shipping. Free.
Head to Blinds.com now for up to 40% off select styles, plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. There's a lot to be thankful for this season. For one, I'm thankful you can get NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV right now for only $209. It's exactly what you need as we head right into the playoffs. You can invite your friends over. Maybe you have a multi-view. You could have 4 different games, one for you, one each for the 3 other friends you invite. You can change the games around. As soon as the outcome becomes pretty certain, dump that game, put in another one. I've become the multi-view master. The moment the one of the games is losing steam, I'm ready to move right in and move it for another one. Build your own multi-view. One of my favorite words. Thank yourself this holiday season. Get NFL Sunday Ticket for the rest of the NFL regular season for just $209. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Terms and embargoes apply. Device and content restrictions apply. No cancellations.
With Uber Reserve, good things come to those who plan ahead. Family vacay? Reserve your ride as soon as you book your flights. To all the planners, now you can reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. See Uber app for details.
But I thought tonight, I don't know. I get it. It's cute. It worked. It was like 2 for 5 the other night or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's like, I just think sometimes it's like, dude, I'm trying to find a way to say this. I just think that sometimes I know it worked a little bit, but it just seemed it was very ineffective. I thought tonight. I thought that they didn't really get that many great looks. It seemed very forced. Forced is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. I thought the first power play looked very forced, both units. I know that the power play has been more of an asset to them this season than obviously last year. It couldn't have gotten worse, but I just feel that sometimes that they're overthinking on the power play, and they got a couple of chances on it. If they pot a couple on the power play, maybe it's not 6-2 at the end. Maybe it's more of a 5-4 game, and you're pulling a goaltender to try to get a late one. It didn't look like it had a lot of jam tonight. They didn't look like they were really gaining momentum off the power play. And I think against a team like the Avalanche, when they hand you those opportunities to score on the man advantage, you got to find a way to put at least one in. It's like I said, it's not Marty Brodeur in net. It's not Patrick Wavold. It's Scott Wedgwood or Mackenzie Blackwood, one of the two. That'll be an interesting one all season for Colorado fans, or every time I hear them play, which Wood's in net.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I really got on it, Rob. I think the other thing I was thinking was you were talking about Owen Pickering. I agree with you 100%. He's in NHL. He's in the NHL now. I saw a funny tweet, actually. Someone said, put him on Letang's pairing so that he can teach Letang a little bit of defense. A little shrapnel thrown Letang's way. But yeah, I think he looks good. He looks poised out there. He doesn't look like he's over his head. I trust him when he's out there while I'm watching, just as a fan. When he's on the ice, I trust him that he seems like a smart guy, and he's not reeking of bad habits like some of the players on this team. Some of the defensemen specifically, but hey, you know what? I agree with you on Pickering. I'm all for. And you got to give him opportunities to make mistakes. You're not going to learn without making mistakes, and this is a player that the Penguins have invested in giving that opportunity to and developing, and it's time that they give him the leash to do so. And I think I keep him in your top 4 on any given night. I think him and Pettersson are your 1 and 2. I don't care which order on the left side for the foreseeable. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I see. That's very hard to argue against. You just let him out there, let him make mistakes, let him learn, because that's the only way he's going to get better. Though if Brian Dumoulin didn't teach Chris Letang any defense all those years, I don't think Owen Pickering is going to, at this point, do much as well either. So, Penguins lose this one 6-2, and seeing where we go from here. A day off on Wednesday, Thursday night, the beginning of a tiny, small Canadian road trip starting in Quebec, in Montreal City, or in Montreal, not Quebec. No, I got the two cities mixed up. In Montreal, the Bell Center with the Canadians on Thursday night, and then they head to the capital of Canada for their first meeting with the Ottawa Senators this season. Both these games are right in the Penguins' wheelhouse if they are serious about continuing to win hockey games, collect points, and hopefully make a playoff push. These are two that you got to have against teams that are not good hockey teams. To be frank, Montreal is what Montreal has been, so it'll be interesting to see how the Penguins handle that one. A young team there still learning, but a team the Penguins should beat and have beaten already this season. They played them, I believe. Yeah, they played them twice this year, once in Montreal, once at home. They have won both of those games. This will be the final meeting with the Canadians this season, so a chance to sweep them here in early December. And then on Saturday, as I said, they head to Ottawa for a matchup with the Senators. So two games that if you want to make noise come springtime, the Penguins are in a position to do that, but they have to win these hockey games against teams like the Canadians and Senators.
No, Robbie, it's mandatory 4 points. I don't care if you. No, you're not even overtime. I mean, if you have to, God forbid, do it, and win it in overtime. But this is 4 point road trip. This is, if I'm looking at Montreal, who, granted, they've got Line back and he's scoring at like a goal per game type of pace right now. That's a game like why give them a chance? Why I want it's cookie night, as I like to call it, for the Penguins. It's stat padding night against the Habs.
Yep.
I know that neither of their goaltenders scare me. None of their defense pairings scare me. Patrick Laine, if you give him a power play, they might slide it over. Lane Hudson might slide it over Patrick Laine's way, and he might tuck one right under the bar. But other than that, you need to just don't give them any reason to believe in their season having any sort of turnaround. And the same thing in Ottawa, man. Like the Ottawa Senators, they've got Brady Tkachuk. They've got some good young pieces. They've had Brady Tkachuk and good young pieces for what feels like a decade now, and their season has not gone their way, the way that they've wanted. I feel like they win the off season quite often, as they say in media. And I mean, again, 2 points. Who's their goaltender? Isn't it Ullmark now?
Yes.
Ullmark might goalie you, but that's their defense and the way that they've been playing in front of him. I don't see why the Penguins can't go in there and take 2 points. Thank you very much. Put it in their back pocket and leave there, and not think about them until they play them later on in the season. But yeah, smell you later, Montreal. See you down the road, Ottawa. This is, for me, Robbie, this is mandatory 4 points, because not long after that they play the Los Angeles Kings, who they're not going to give you much. That's a game you're hoping to get a couple. They play stingy hockey. The Kings do. I don't care how good you're playing against them. That get whatever night that is that they play. Looks like it's the 17th of December. I don't know. I just think that these are 2 games where the Penguins can use that Sullivan system, high flying, back, track meet hockey and put goals up. Just do it. And let's move on, because we got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I'm absolutely on board with that. Go in, get 2 wins, score some goals, head back home feeling good about yourself. That needs to be the plan these next 2 games, which, as I said, start Thursday evening in Montreal and then Saturday in Ottawa. So now, if you don't have anything else, I think we just put a bow on this and call it a night. You're on mute.
Let's call it a night. The Penguins lose by a score of 6-2. And, I mean, it didn't feel like a 6-2 drubbing, though. This team, the Penguins hung around.
Yeah, I will agree with that. But, a loss is a loss, and look to bounce back up on Thursday in Montreal. So, as always, we'll be back on Thursday night with a recap of that one. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. We will talk to you guys later this week.